Hi, my name is Matt DiGeronimo, and this is weird. Found this letter on my desk this morning. No envelope, no return of address, just sitting there. And it is signed by Thomas Jefferson. Now, either someone has way too much time on their hands and a fantastic grasp of 18th century prose, or we have a pretty big story on our hands. Because when you hear what's in this letter, you'll understand why I had to share it. To the American people, I write to you not as a spirit, nor as a relic of the past, but as one whose thoughts, though penned centuries ago, were always meant for the ages. The republic we built was not designed to serve one generation alone. It was entrusted to you as its guardians to renew, refine, and defend against the slow decay of tyranny, corruption, and most insidious of all, complacency. I have long believed that the truest danger to liberty is not the brute force of kings, but the slow erosion of the people's will to govern themselves. And in you, my descendants in freedom, I see both the greatest hope of mankind and its most dire peril. For I see a nation divided, not by the necessities of debate, but by the poison of mistrust. I see a people more eager to be ruled than to rule themselves. I see an appetite for power in your leaders that would shame even the most indulgent of monarchs. And I see in your own hearts a willingness to submit, not because you lack courage, but because you have grown weary of the burdens that liberty demands. This, my fellow citizens, is a tragedy. When we declared that all men were created equal, it was not to establish a world of uniform thought, nor to command that every man should think alike. We knew well that among free people differences would abound, that men would argue, contend, and even clash in the pursuit of what they believed to be right. But we also knew that the strength of a republic lies not in its ability to suppress differences, but in its ability to endure them. Have you lost this understanding? Have you forgotten that the very foundations of your nation were laid in the fires of disagreement, yet never at the expense of unity? You speak now of division as though it's new to America, as though we have not always been a people of dissent, of argument, of clashing visions for the future. I tell you, division itself is not your enemy. It is the lifeblood of free men. What threatens you now is not disagreement, but your growing incapacity to disagree well. You no longer debate, you condemn. You no longer listen, you silence. You no longer persuade, you demand. This is not the conduct of a free people. This is the first step toward oppression, where ideas are declared forbidden, where dissenters are cast out, and where liberty is no longer the right of all, but the privilege of the few who hold power. Beware this path, for if you will not allow others to speak, one day you will find that you yourselves have been rendered mute. Let me remind you of a truth too often forgotten. The government is not your master. It is not the source of your rights. It is not the giver of your liberties. It is, and must always remain, your servant. Do not wait for Washington to repair what has been broken among you. Look not to the halls of power to mend the fabric of your nation. This work must be done not by those who seek office, but by those who love liberty. Start by speaking, not in anger, but in inquiry. Let curiosity, not condemnation, guide your thoughts. And above all, remember that a republic cannot survive where men care more for victory than virtue. The time will come when your descendants will look back upon this moment and ask whether you were faithful to the principles upon which this nation was founded. I pray that when that day arrives, they will say of you what we once said of ourselves. They were Americans, and they did not falter. With hope, I remain your faithful countryman, Thomas Jefferson. Whew. Patriots, our republic is still young, but its survival is not assured. The The question before us is not whether America can endure, but quite frankly, whether we are still worthy of her. Until next time. Hey, like, subscribe, comment, help me out. Thanks.